All right, this is going to be a bit of an impromptu video. I have a little bit of live troubleshooting I'm going to have to do, I'm pretty sure of. I am redoing my website. My personal website is being redesigned. I'm rebuilding it in Etch, and there's one piece of this that looks fairly easy to do, but I know it's going to be a bit more complicated, and it's this card effect on the hero. And I'm assuming I'm going to be using this card effect through other pieces of design on different sections. And you would think, oh, well, just add a background to the content container and just give it a border. Not that easy. Let me kind of show you why. So my container, so here's my container with all my content, right? It's going to sit in here, and it's not the same size. Like, this is going to be smaller than this width here. This width is actually the full size of my browser width, just minus this gutter. So there's going to be this bit of gutter here, spacing in between, that we need to account for. And there's going to be things like, do we want this to always span the full width of the screen, or does it have to have a max? And what is it going to do on mobile? What happens if... Let's go into this and figure this out, how it's going to work and why there's going to be some trouble, and then how we'll go through it. So let me open up Etch, and we'll just start with what I know, and we'll figure it out from there. Okay, so I'm in Etch. I know that I want a single class that I can add to any section, and it adds this card effect. So let's go ahead and go add a class of BG card effect. Sure. And I know when I add this, I want the position of this to change to relative. And then for my card, I'm going to use an after element. So we'll go and after, we'll add a content of nothing, we'll add a position of absolute. And then I want this to always be at the top. So like if I go back over here, we can see that all of, like, this should be the very top of my section. So we'll go inset block start of 0. And then I'm going to have to play, I don't want to use inset for this, like, so an inset on these, because I think it causes issues. So what we'll do is we'll make this centered. So this after element will be centered to my section. So we'll go inset inline start of 50%. And we'll actually set this to inline size 100%. Block size 100%, and then we'll give this a background of red so we can see it. Okay, so it's cut here in the direct center, so let's move it back to the left. So we'll go transform translate X of negative 50%. Okay, and it's taking up the full screen, and let's just z-index this to the back. Z-index -1. Okay, it's not exactly what I want. So what we need to do is let's change the color to white, since we can actually see it now. Let's go change that to white real quick. Var white. Okay. And what I want to do is I want it to make it, I want this to be a max width of 100%, but I do want to adjust for the spacing here, which is var gutter. So let's do that. Here's my var gutter will be here. And we'll say, okay, take up the full width minus var gutter. So there's 2 var gutters, so times 2. So we'll go, all right, I want my inline size is 100%. My max inline size is going to be calc 100% minus var gutter times 2. Okay, so we have some gutter there. And I think there's going to be an issue with this as I get on smaller devices. So if I go this route, what's going to happen, and you actually need to add one more div for you to see this. So let's go here. I'm going to add in a flex div. I'll give this a random class with .rand in Etch. It gives a random class. Background, red, and we'll go height of 20 rem. Okay. Look at this. On smaller devices, it's actually taking up the full width. Like, the content will take up the full width of this card. It won't look like there's space. So let's sort that out. I want to say, okay, instead of the after element taking up 100% minus var gutter times 2, let's just do one single var gutter, because it's half. So it'll set half of the width there. So there's actually some space in between. So if we look here, my section has var gutter as its padding inline. And so I'm saying, okay, the after element just needs to sit directly in the center there because I'm only minusing 100% minus 1 var gutter. So it's basically, yeah, it's half. Okay, so that's much better. And if I go to mobile, we can see it's kind of sitting inside. It has a little bit of padding. That's much, much better. So let's go ahead and say, all right, now here's the next issue. Do I want this to always be 100% width of the viewport? Like it's always 100%. I don't like that. So let's create a min. So choose the smallest value that I put here. So if 1600 pixels is the smallest, choose it. Otherwise, do my calculation. Okay, so we'll save that. And so that kind of brought it in a little bit. But I don't like using random pixel values. So I'm going to say, let's do another calc here. Calc of var content width, which is the width of my content here. That's coming from automatic CSS. So we'll say, take that width and times it by 1.5. And if that value is smaller than my other calculation, use it. That's still too big. So let's go like 1.25. Okay, that's better. So let's use that. And then I'm going to say, yeah, that works. But now how do we get this to work? So I want this to have the same inline size, the same size as this after element. So let's go take this. We're going to copy my max inline size and we're going to make a variable of extended width. Yep. And let's go to my styling manager and let's go ahead and do extended width of that. So now that should be applied to it. Make sure that's working. Okay, it's working. And now we're going to go to my templates, my header, and we're going to say, okay, I want you to have an inline size of 100%, but I want to have a max inline size of my var extended width. Okay, so now let's save it. Okay, so now those are the same width. What happens on mobile? Oh, that's not going to work. It's because my header has some padding on the inline, which we want to remove. So we'll go padding inline, remove that. Okay, now we're working. Okay, cool. So now it's the same width. But what happens if I don't... What happens if I don't want it to always be like that, right? Like sometimes I want it to be the normal width of my content on my website, and sometimes I want it to be larger. And the time it should be larger is if the first section has the class of BG card effect. So let's go back to my header and we'll say, and has, it's going to be next to, I gotta look at my DOM here. So here's my header. When my header is next to my main, and the first section has the BG card effect. So let's go has plus main, and it's direct, main, it's direct section first child dot bg card effect. When that happens, change the header, so my header container to be inline size 100% and max inline size var extended width. So I don't want to do it all the time. I don't know if this is going to work. I don't want to do it all the time, but only when it's next to it. So let's take this away. Okay, so it's going to go back to normal. But on this end, oh, it's working. What happens if I go back to my page here, Content Hub, page, open in Builder. I take away the BG card effect. This should now change in width. It does. Now it goes back to my normal content width. But if the first section has BG, and I want to confirm that, let's add another section here. Let's go section. This one has BG card effect. Okay. So that'd be the second section. So there we go. That has not changed width. Okay. So it's only when the first one here has .bg card effect. Oops. Add, save. There we go. Sweet. Okay. That actually worked. Let's remove this and we'll go here and then we'll say, I want to give this a border radius, a var radius L, and then I want to change, we need to set it so that it fades. Now, most people would add a linear gradient and just go from white to whatever color is in the background, but let's go ahead and go mask image and we'll go linear gradient to bottom. At the top, I'm going to do black 0%. And then at the bottom, we'll go transparent 100%. Okay. And let's remove this. And now we have that fading effect that will happen regardless of the section. And I think we're good. All right, well, I'm not done. I was thinking about another use case. What if I want to animate it for whatever reason? So let's say I want to transform the y-axis and change the opacity. So I want it to like slide in. So what I need to do here is I want to change a couple things. I want to change the inset block start so I can adjust where it starts if I ever need to. We'll go var bg card effect block. It's going to be long, but I want it to be what it is. Okay. So we can adjust that pretty easily if we ever need to. And it'll default to 0. So if this is not available, it'll default to 0. And the 50%, I think I always want that to stay the same. I do want to animate the opacity. So we'll go opacity of var bg card effect opacity and default that to 1. So if it's not available, give me an opacity of 1. And then I also want transform, translate y, var bg card effect y, and default that to 0. Okay, so now I can go open, let's open a new one here. Go to motion page. If I wanted to add some GSAP, we'll create a new timeline and we'll just call this global for now. This will be everywhere. And we'll say I want page load, after load. I want to change, I should do before load. Let's find my BG card effect. And we'll go, grab that. And we'll go custom. I want to adjust the BG card effect Y. And I also want to adjust the BG card effect opacity. So we'll go from, 50 pixels, so it should be pushed down to 0. And then we'll go from 0 to 1. So let's copy these. I have 2 custom values. Oops. Oh well. I want to go from 50 to 0. And I want to go from 0 to 1. Oh, there we go. We have it coming in, which is exactly what I want. Cool. What else do I... Ease is fine. I don't really need it to do much. And let's just kind of reduce that a little bit and save timeline. Let's go check it out. There we go. We have a little bit of animation there. But that should be buttoned up. I don't think there's anything crazy that I need to do here. Wait, what happened here? Oh, yeah, no, that's right. Okay, I was like, these are matching the same content width there, but that's fine. Okay, that's looking really good. I'm sure there's going to be more edge cases, but that is how you would calculate where you want that to sit in space and how you make it a specific width and adjust for all the breakpoints that you need. Cool. I hope this video was helpful. I hope you guys learned something. Kind of highlight a little bit about how Etch is working, and yeah. Anyways, I'm sure the next video I have will be impromptu, and I'll see you guys in that one when it comes.